What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
Back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, aka the BeerBuddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love every second of it, dude. Fantastic.
How you going, all you amazing people? You absolute legends. Thank you for tuning in today. I am the Reverend Raff. This here is my co-host, Carl, aka the BeerBuddy. We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here with another podcast episode for you. But before we dive into it, it'd be nice if you enjoy your time with us today. If you'd consider hitting that subscribe button down there, tickling all the buttons that makes YouTube happy. We are trying to grow the channel. We have also launched a Patreon, so if you really enjoy what we do and you'd like to kick us a couple of bucks a month for some extra support, that'd be greatly appreciated. You get your name in credits on the videos, and we are starting to entertain like uploading the content over there for, if YouTube makes us like cover something on a video for copyright stuff, or if there's reactions we do that the copyright the thing just doesn't really work,
Doesn't like it,
and also over there you can get it ad free, so you won't have to worry about any of that. And yeah, so if you're interested, that's over there. We're trying to keep it as cheap as possible for you guys, but we have podcast episodes coming out every Thursdays, as well as some ancillary content on the weekends in the forms of Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin. We have reaction videos releasing every Monday and Friday, as well as Wednesdays if there's some lot of cool stuff that we want to react to. Tuesday's kind of a free day. There won't always be a video coming out, but if there is, that'll be the day. It'll just be kind of random stuff. But we are continuing our coverage today of the Metal to the Max Festival. Metal to the Max Festival is a heavy metal music festival that is spanning across 2 days, technically 3 if you get there on the Friday to set up your campsite. And it is taking place at the Mad Max 2 compound out at Silverton. That is near Broken Hill, near the New South Wales, South Australia border. It is way out in the middle of nowhere, and it is going to be a hell of a time. Like I said, it's at the Mad Max 2 compound. It is taking place on the 5th and 6th of October, with the Friday night of the 4th being optional, as we said, for camping setup. We will have a link for tickets in the description down there. Get them while they're hot. One of the allocations has already been exhausted, so you don't want to miss out on what's remaining. We're going to be out there. We are going to be covering the event on site, so that's going to be awesome. And we are just going to be hanging out, talking to all the incredible bands that are on the lineup. It's 30 bands across 2 days. The value is insane there. Like, it's well worth the trip. Events like this are always going to be very, very special. So we're excited. All the people already going are excited, and we hope that you are excited. There is also going to be a link to the Lead Heavy Promotions team and the event page in the description, as well as a link to a Spotify playlist featuring all of the bands that are going to be involved. With all that said, mate, mouthful. It's getting there. It's a mouthful.
It is.
Once we stop the Metal to the Max coverage, it'll be back to something a little bit shorter. But
yeah, 100%,
mate. How you doing?
But we got to plug it, man. I'm so pumped for this, man. It's pretty much just consuming my life. I love every second of it.
Yeah, it's taken up a lot at the moment.
Awesome. Hey, look. At the end of the day, we're here for a reason. We're here to help try and fucking really make this as big as what we see it can be.
That's true.
So. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. The bands have got to do their work, and it's up to people like us and the other ones out there that want to get involved to plug the shit out of it. And I feel very privileged that we're involved. So, yeah, thank you very much, Lead Heavy, for getting us involved.
Yep.
Because this is what we do. This is why we fucking do what we do, man.
I mean, we do it because we want to raise the profile of Australian music and, talk to all these cool bands and discover all this new music ourselves, and hopefully help you guys discover some new cool stuff. So you definitely want to go and check out all the links to all of the stuff down there. And today we have another one of the bands that is going to be playing at Metal to the Max. We have with us today. Now, look, if you're a bit more of an old school metalhead, if you like that kind of 70s, that late 70s kind of stuff, maybe not quite the thrash vibe, but more of an Iron Maiden type energy, I think this is going to be a band for you. We have with us today the absolute legends in Skyhammer. And I am just going to look, sorry, I should have had this ready earlier. I really apologize to the guys in Skyhammer that I'm having to look at this off the thing. But they are an Adelaide band formed in 2013. They've released a couple of EPs or albums there, with the latest being in February of 2021. Now that one, the most recent one, actually includes a cover of Danger Zone, which, always a good track to cover. And look, they've toured or supported bands like Lord, Black Majesty, Darker Half. So they're really getting out there, making a name for themselves, which is always exciting to see. And we are going to dive into our interview with them right now. Thank you very, very much for joining us today, gentlemen. For those playing along at home, we have Rich and Andrew from Skyhammer. They're an Adelaide band, and they've been absolutely kicking ass all over the place for the last sort of 10, 11 years. And they are going to be playing at Metal to the Max, which is obviously what we've been focusing on recently. And that's our whole series of interviews with a ton of the bands that are going to be on that amazing festival. So for those people that may not know the band, what is the elevator pitch for Skyhammer?
Well, I guess we would consider ourselves it's a traditional metal sort of idea, but I suppose we put a modern spin on it, and then throw in some progressive power metal elements as well. Mm-hmm. It's been going a while now. Yeah,
that's about I guess about 13 years, 14 years.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, thanks.
That's really, really cool. And like we've been listening to the stuff kind of across the week. Definite, if you like Iron Maiden, you'll probably like Skyhammer kind of vibes. Like that's clearly, that's a very, very obvious influence there. But a lot of other bands from that ilk, that kind of era of metal, you can hear that kind of coming through. So it's really, really cool. Like it shows that I think, so far out of the bands we've interviewed, there's going to be already a fair bit of diversity in the Metal to the Max lineup. Like, we've had Pit Vipers who were, they're kind of covering a whole bunch of new metal stuff. We had Suffer the Avenue, which is kind of new metal inspired, like new metal grunge-ish inspired type thing. Obviously Witch Grinder being headliners, like they're going to be coming out and kicking absolute ass doing their like kind of gothic industrial metal type thing. You guys with a bit more of an old school kind of twin guitar type sound. It's shaping up to be such a great lineup across the board, and I think like we couldn't be more excited to be covering it. Are you you guys hyped for it? You guys keen to get out in the middle of nowhere and play some fucking metal?
Yeah, definitely. Like, they have put together a good bill. Like, there's a lot of bands. I don't know, bands like Darker Half, which we're fans of. And it is such a great mix as well, which is what I really like about it. Yeah, because you're not just getting that one sort of style of music for a whole weekend or subgenre.
Well, the great thing, look, no offense to any thrash metal fans out there, it's not Thrash Fest 2024. Do you know what I mean? It's not and as much as I do, love the occasional thrash, it's just I love a bit of variety, especially if I've got 2 days worth of it.
Yeah, that variety is going to help so much.
There's so many awesome, like bands from Adelaide. All from interstate. We've got lots of friends like in the bands from Adelaide, like Those Left Behind and Headbore and all the other ones. But also, we love bands like Firestorm, obviously Witch Grinder. A lot of friends in a lot of those bands, and they're just amazing.
Well, that's what we're excited about because I mean, like, obviously being from the East Coast, we are a lot more familiar with the East Coast bands, and the bands that are going around there. And Adelaide is in some ways almost like the redheaded stepchild because it's not quite close enough to it's close enough to Melbourne that the bands can kind of go there and do a bit of stuff. But when it comes to like Sydney and Brisbane, it's a bit far for a lot of y'all to trek out to with any degree of regularity. So it feels like Adelaide gets almost a bit isolated from most of the East Coast stuff, but so like we are obviously not exposed to all of the incredible bands that are coming out of there, you know. And this is what one of the things I'm excited for with going to an event like this is just all the bands I don't know, all the bands I've never heard before, all the bands that I can discover and just check out what they're doing. And already, you know, like we said, there's a Spotify playlist with most of the bands in it you can go and listen to, and there's so much talent. And this is exactly what we talk about on here. Like the amount of talent that exists in the Australian metal scene and music scene in general, but especially in the metal scene, doing like a niche genre in a country where there's not a huge audience for that genre and everyone's really spread out anyway. It just is like the people are doing what they want to do. They're not trend chasing, and that's creating this like just insanely good stuff. And I love telling people all over the world, like Australian metal's where it's at. You know, you check out Aussie bands, you will find some cool shit that that can ride with anything else that's out there.
Absolutely.
It's really just that isolation, I guess, for us, which, you know, it's only so many cities we've got here and they're all far apart. And it's it's for Broken Hill, like Adelaide is a local show.
Yeah. Well, it's not like America where you can do a show and then you drive like 3 or 4 hours to the next town and you can do a whole chain of those, right? Like you know, you have to fly. Otherwise you are spending an inordinate amount of time driving. And you know, and that's just if you're doing East Coast, right? Like if you're mucking around, including Adelaide in that and going to Perth or whatever as well, like it's just driving's just not an option, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see like a lot of international stuff's coming through Adelaide now, so that's getting a bit more awareness. But
good, yeah,
it's just great. Everything seems to be picking up, which is awesome.
That's great. Well, that's really cool. Because Adelaide was missing out a lot for a while, right?
We were. We just see every international band come in, and it's like, oh, another, you know, leapfrog
Australian
over us.
Tour.
That's it.
Eventually, they just called it the Australian East Coast Tour. Eventually, like just people got annoyed. And look, you know, and the most refreshing thing about this is actually getting to hear a lot of the bands from Adelaide that we've been interviewing as well. Like, it's just untapped a whole new market for us. Like Raff said, you know, we're only really familiar with this stuff, and you got to think some great musicians have come out of Adelaide.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you can't deny that. Some great music's come out of Adelaide.
Well, city of churches and serial killers, right? Like that's the
apparently so.
Allegedly.
I will say nothing. I refuse to answer on the grounds I may incriminate myself.
I believe, like, if you look at statistically the murder rate across the capitals, it's all similar. It's just that here we've only got 4 people doing it all. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. So you guys had quite a big gap between releases. So you had your first one in 2013, then you dropped a new one in 2021. Was there like a sort of hiatus for the band in between there, or you just sort of weren't really sure what direction you wanted to go, or what was the reason for having such a big gap between releases there?
Yeah, so mainly with that, we have had a lot of revolving door kind of members. Drummers has been a big thing, but we dropped the first one. I think that was a EP that was a self-titled one, I think, or back in 2013 or so. And then after that, we kind of concentrated. Because we've all got families and everything. It's more been a lot of live stuff, which we really enjoy. And then it is just time just goes.
Yeah,
but
they're very fair.
There's no deliberate thing. We've got an album recording at the moment.
Oh, fantastic.
We've got thank you. We're always trying to do stuff, but sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, very, very fair, very, very fair indeed. I know how it is, you know, especially as you get older, you get families, and even though not every member of the band might have the same degree of familial commitments, you it's never a one-man show. It's always got to have everyone involved, and it can be, the older we get, the more challenging it is to get everyone together in the same place to do the shit. So
I think most band people are just like, come on, turn 13. You can start kind of looking after yourself, and I can get out of the house for a little bit. It's like, just get old enough, please. Yeah. And then it's either that or you're going to be over at a friend's house all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the hardest part. I mean, especially being on the road. I mean, you guys said that you did a lot of touring stuff and were on the road a lot. How do you find that? I mean, is it mainly been around your sort of local area, or have you tried to branch out sort of interstate and tried to get that sort of rolling on?
Yeah. We've done a few interstate things. It's generally a lot of local stuff, trying to get supports and gigs as well. But we used to play a lot, all around the place in Adelaide. But then, as it gets harder to do that with family and get everyone together and do everything, so we tried to play not as often. But try to, I guess, maximise the amount of people that we can get there and do new things.
Well, that's important, like it's if you're in a smaller market, such as, Adelaide, like it's not like Sydney where there's, 4 million people. It's a much smaller population, much smaller number of fans that you can get exposure for. It's really important to not saturate the market there and not always have another show that's only a couple of weeks away, because people will forever say, I'll catch him at the next one. I'll catch him at the next one. And, after you've been doing it for a while, you kind of have to take that step. Otherwise, and that way, as you say, it helps ensure that your shows are bigger. If people want to see you, they know they have to come out and see you this time, because it's going to be several months before you play another one. And, it's just finding the right balance is tricky, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, Matt.
Yeah. So I want to ask, what was the reasoning in the choice of cover for when you all decided to do Danger Zone? Is that just, you just dig the song, or you thought it would be like something that holds a special place for you guys, or?
I think we just came to a realization that sort of like 80s sort of pop songs are just make great like power metal songs, because it's all about these, interesting chord changes, and even for the 80s too, those songs, there's just nothing sort of standard about their structural arrangement. They'll like throw in an extra bar here, an extra bar there, which is constantly mucking us.
Yeah, messing us up.
Change a chord at the end of the second chorus from the first, and it just made a lot of sense. Like listening to it, you can hear it, and it's like, well, what happens if we take the synths out, transpose that to guitar? What does that sound like? And then it just makes for a great fun song as well. And you can just sort of your imagination's the limit to what you can do with those sort of songs. You can just take it in so many directions,
and everyone knows
straight to the Danger Zone.
Well, that's, hey, everyone's going to be driving all through the fucking desert to get to the Danger Zone for Metal to the Max, because holy shit, what a fucking drive. I think we're
estimating 15 hours from where we're from.
Yeah, for us, we'll be heading out from Western Sydney on the Friday morning, leaving super, super early, and making our way out there. If we do a straight shot, it's like 12, 13 hours, I think. So by the time we pause and have some piss breaks and stop for lunch or whatever, probably 15-ish hours, I reckon.
Don't envy that. Yeah, that's some commitment, right there.
Hey, look,
at
the end of the day, we got to match the energy. Do you know what I mean? Like I was saying to Raff last night, it's weird. I got out of band stuff. Now more involved in band stuff than when I ever was when I was in the band. It's like I'm lugging twice. I was a singer. I took my little bag with my microphone in it. I'm lugging twice as much gear as what I was when I was actually in a band.
Our setup. You're
just looking at me going, "Get fucked, you asshole!"
You're-
Fucking carry shit all the time.
You're gonna really You're gonna really learn what it's like to properly load gear when we get out there, mate. Because
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
have
be
great fun.
loading. We're gonna be moving like the marquee and the banners and cables and all of our shit out there. Like it's gonna be, if all goes to plan, we should have a pretty tidy setup. Gonna be interviewing bands all day. Gonna
So
be
we wanna
talking to
see
people
after
all
your set?
day. Talking to the punters. We absolutely want to get you guys to come by the tent at some point after your set so we can have a chat about all of that. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty wild weekend.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it's great for us. Like I feel it's quite humbling to be asked to play on that. Like, firstly, just the the bands on the lineup is just all amazing, and
every band that we've checked out so far has just been like so good. Like this is really, when we say that this is like, going to be 30 of Australia's premier like metal bands, like I think this is going to be a great example of what Australia has to offer.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. Like you said before, the standard of metal, especially in Australia at the moment, is like definitely world standard, if not like right up there at the top of it. And there's such a great diversity.
Yeah,
there really, really is. Is there? Have you guys kind of got? I know some of the bands are trying to plan, see if they can do anything like extra special for the show, like trying to make sure they've got some new songs or doing special outfits or bringing extra lighting and pyro and stuff. Have you guys got anything special in mind for the set? For this one? Anything you can tell us about it? You don't have to if you don't want to tell us. If you want to keep it a surprise.
Nothing we can set in stone like 100% yet. Otherwise, we'd definitely be saying it. But we're always, every single show, we're trying to do something better, something special. We're trying to make it so that people remember it and it stands out. And it's not just them going to watch a band stand there and on stage and sing a song or something like that. It's like we try to do something special for everything and draw everyone in. So that will be for this.
That is the best attitude to have, and this goes out to any band that's playing there. This isn't your A game. We need above that for this, right? If
you're familiar with internet and YouTube ranking stuff, we don't want your A tier. We want S tier. You need to go over and above. You need to really push it in. Like, this is the thing of going 110%. People will have traveled a hell of a long way for this shit. All the bands.
If we do our job properly, eyes will be on this, and hopefully people from around the world will start seeing this. So we we want that.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing. Like, if this goes well, we would hope that there's going to be 2025 and then 2026, and an event like that's going to draw attention.
Oh, it's such a cool, like the whole Mad Max thing as well. The location, everything is just it's just next level. The atmosphere is going to be amazing.
And the timing's perfect. The new movie's just come out, like there's so much fuck. Okay.
So you mentioned that you guys are working on an album. What can you tell us about that?
Well, so far we've sort of in varying sort of parts of pre-production on it. So all the songs are written. So they're all set in stone. We've got drums done, bass done. We've just got various parts of guitar and vocals left to do. So it's looking like it'll be 9 tracks if they all are
nice
in the wash. So we're fairly excited about it. Personally, for me, it's exciting because it's the first time in Skyhammer that I've had a chance to write as well.
Okay.
So that's been fun to sort of get in and with the guys, and one of the the fun parts about being in a band is like the different personalities and how you come together and, just sort of making things work and
him putting up with all of my shit.
What about the artwork on this album? Go over a bit of that. Like, what was the whole concept of that?
So, as in the new album or the one we have?
The one that you currently have, the Skyhammer from 2021.
The Skyhammer one. So it's an EP, but it's comes in almost 40 minutes. It's quite long for that. The artwork was done by a friend of ours who is a great local artist named Chris Gaston. He's been a long-time friend before we started Skyhammer, and it wasn't until we actually started it and he started coming out to shows that we realised he was an artist. But he actually painted the cover to this.
Oh wow!
And then we obviously put it into a print. But yeah, just an amazing artist and an amazing supporter of us because he's always at our shows as well.
Oh, that's mad. Did he do that thing where they come up and they go, man, I really dig your music. Can I do some art for it?
Yeah. That's more of us hassling him.
Good. No, like, dude, I didn't know that was painted. That looks unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. I should have taken the plastic off. So
no. It's yeah. I mean, it gives people an excuse to go out and buy it when they come to the show, and get a bit of story behind it.
I mean, our album art is something that has, I don't want to say gone by the wayside because it hasn't gone by the wayside just yet, but it's become very, like there's things that kind of just pop up constantly in album artwork these days, especially, and things like the the sheet ghost. Like there's so many metal albums now, they'll have like a fucking thing and it looks like it's a human figure under like with that's kind of like a sheet type thing, or the person, the tiny figure stood in front of this like catastrophic landscape, or there's things like that just pop up all the time now, and it just feels like they don't have much uniqueness about them, but something like that being like painted and then made into a thing there, it's like that's, while it's thematic for what you guys do and it fits the style very there well. It's there's a lot more behind it than just it was just a cool image, Yeah,
definitely. It's a lot of character and it means something to us as well. And there's actually the painting as well. It's still out there.
That's mad. And I mean, look, you even go as far as to say, like, inside the album when you get the thank yous and stuff like that. That was one of my favourite things to do. When I first got an album, it was chuck it in, grab the booklet, go through the booklet, see what was in the booklet while you were listening to the album. Yeah. When I used to do that, and especially if a band really took a time to sort of put like a thank you or something in there and really write those deep and meaningful things, it actually gave you a bit of a taste of what went into that current piece of what you're physically listening to and holding now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it drew meaning to it. And I think that maybe that's the reason why people are so fucking quick to judge on albums and stuff, and shit like that, because they don't actually have that meaning behind it. They don't have that,
And with that as well, how many new bands or did you discover through that as well? Or, personnel, engineers, producers as well?
And artists.
Artists, yeah.
It's great to it's great to like I like physical releases are such these days. It's like it's kind of a gamble almost, to get them done, because when you've put it's a bit less of a risk if you've done a lot of stuff in-house, right? Like if you've done a lot of recording in-house and you are literally all you have to pay for is the pressing, like cool, it's a bit easier to take that risk. But if you've already sunk a ton of money into it and then you would have to pay for pressing on top of that, and it's like, all right, well, how are we trying to make this not just a black hole that we've thrown our money into? Getting physical releases is such a gamble because, you just don't know if you're going to sell them or not. And for some styles that appeal to a bit more of an old school mentality, and I imagine like your style probably attracts a lot more of the old school fans that are more, buy the album type people.
Great fans to have, by the way.
A lot of the, there's definitely the sort of younger contingent out there that tends to they just don't buy physical
or whatever
things anymore, you know, and it's just the way of the world. But
But it is starting to come around, though. I guess there's more collector's items, but people are looking at like more the vinyl collection, like the one you got. Well, I think that's a vinyl collection behind you.
What it is back there.
yeah,
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like people either want those pieces that they can put on their wall for their streaming room, or you know something like that, and or they can get it signed and they can actually have it as a piece.
Yeah,
you know, it's a collector's item now.
Mm.
You know, and I think that's when you get the sort of more the purist sort of deal.
That's where I think like the bands need to lean into that though. Like you go, all right, we're only going to do like the first print, the first run that you do is collector's editions, and you put you do like a second disc that's a DVD with a bunch of behind the scenes videos or extra stuff, and it comes with like a poster like folded into the thing, or you do like this limited run of collector's editions as your first run. And so that's maybe it has a couple of extra tracks that you can only get on that one that aren't available on streaming or whatever. And that's, if they want a physical version, that's the physical version. And you obviously try and price it reasonably and everything so that it's not too expensive, but you guys obviously still are able to make a little bit back on it. But doing that encourages that whole, it's like a merch idea thing. And you can do a package with a T-shirt, a collector's edition of the album and a T-shirt, and you kind of bundle it together to entice people to buy it. And then, if you sell through those super quickly, cool. Then you just get a bunch of normal ones printed, or however you want to handle it, or you just have only the collector's edition as the only physical ones, and that way it's something a bit more special. You can even number them. You can have like all sorts of ways to add value to it to make it more enticing. You just got to put the work in ahead of time to put that value into it.
Yeah. Perfect example was Corn Issues.
Yep. Different covers, wasn't it?
4 different album covers, and you know how I would have loved to have known the marketing genius that was with them, that sat there and went, "You've just brought out Follow the Leader. It went number 1. It went gangbusters. You're everywhere at the moment. Fucking everyone wants a bit of Corn. Let's let the people make the next album cover." Because that's what it was. Everybody got to draw their own albums and send them in. They had fucking piles of fan mail. If you go watch one of their old DVDs, they had piles of fan mail, and they went through every single bit themselves. And they they came down to 4. They released 4 albums. I was such a Korn fan. I think I one stage had all 4 of the same fucking album. I bought that shit 4 times.
It's hard to explain the collector's curse. What goes on in our brains when we
it's broken. It's broken. But that's the thing. It's like at least they didn't have the internet to compete with as hard back then. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Now it's like could you actually not release the album, like the next album in Australia, on Spotify and just make everyone come out to buy your album? Do you know what I mean? Like, could you actually do that? Considering Spotify can actually put you on strikes, or even like YouTube can put you on strikes in certain countries. They can't watch you here. They can watch you here. Yeah. Could you actually do that?
Yeah,
because that would be a fucking great idea.
Yeah.
Would it be a great idea though? Like, because you're kind of railroading your fans into buying it then, which is. That they may not take kindly to that. I'll tell you what, like, I know I probably, like, if I was a fan of a band and they were like, we're only going to release a physical version, they're in your, in that region, like if it's one thing to go, hey, we're releasing it in a physical form now and it's not coming to streaming until later. For everyone. Like that's a tactic I've seen used as well.
That is a good idea.
People going, all right, well, we're going to release some singles on streaming to entice people, but if you want the whole album, the only way to get the whole album now is a physical copy. And then 12, 18 months down the line, then you launch it on streaming, which is like, and that's, that way people want to hit online on streaming, they can get it online. But if they want the full album, there's only one place to get it. Whereas if you were just region locking that, though, I feel like that'd be a little bit,
to be fair, as I say that, I'd be pretty butthurt if you were like, you gave it to the rest of the world for free. I came to a show and then you're going to make me buy a CD? No.
Yeah, what we like to do is we'll sell stuff like, so we've got a lot of online stuff.
Yep.
But like for t-shirts and stuff and anything, we always have them a lot cheaper at our shows because it's people coming out to actually see us. And we appreciate that, so that we try to do that.
That is a fucking great. If you want the t-shirts cheaper, come out and see. Have a great night, and we'll get you a t-shirt cheaper. That is a fucking great idea.
That's how to do it, and like it's important too. I mean, you know, if you've got new merch designs constantly cycling through, you can keep the older ones online. So if people want to get the older ones, they can still get them, and then at the shows, you got the newer ones. You know, and you're always giving people a new thing to buy. It's, you know, it's like that's the marketing side of it you got to think about, because the reality is, if you want to try and have a band be not just a money pit these days, you have to really think about it from a business angle, and you've got to try and think outside the box and find ways to entice people to buy what's in front of them right now, but also have the older stuff that they maybe didn't get before somehow still available to them as an option. It's not just completely, you know, blocked off.
Otherwise, your shirt's getting resold on fucking eBay for like triple the amount of price that you originally sold it at.
So it's a tough market out there these days.
Yeah. Especially in Australia. Like, dude, we don't have 330 million people here. Fuck. What are we like? We're the most spread out country in the fucking on the planet. Like, oh, I love metalheads. We're the biggest suckers for punishment, man. We are. We are. We love it. We love it. And I'll tell you what, it's the most pure form of music you will ever find.
Yeah, I have noticed since after COVID, it took a little bit to come back, but now people are coming out to shows more. I think they appreciate it a lot more now because they couldn't have it before, and they like. It's amazing seeing bands come through, like even Adelaide, and they just seeing how much merch they sell, how many t-shirts, how many things like that, because the fans want that. People want to actually have something as a memento, and they do appreciate it a lot more once it was taken away for while COVID was here, I guess.
And look, as I have said it a couple of times, COVID did separate the wheat from the chaff as far as bands went. A lot of the bands that were here just for fun whittled off by the wayside. A lot of the ones that were like, no, we're going to double down in this and we're going to write more shit. Oh, the music that came out after COVID is just...
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you had the time to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It just split everything down. It basically reset the music scene for me.
Yeah, a perfect example.
Just hit the reset button.
Sorry, a perfect example of that around Adelaide would be the band Hidden Intent. Everyone else stopped when COVID was here. They kept touring. They kept doing everything, and they've just gone from strength to strength, like playing, you know, Wacken Festival and that now. Like, and before that, it wasn't even an option.
Yeah. So Hidden Intent is a band that, like, a lot of the bands we've been talking to so far, I think you guys are the fifth band that we've interviewed for the festival, and 3 have been from Adelaide. 3 bands from Adelaide. So we had the first one was Pit Vipers. They're from Broken Hill, so they kind of gave us a nice little view of the scene out there. Then obviously we had Witchgrinder, and we've got, you know, then we've had the 3 bands from Adelaide in a row, basically, and Hidden Intent is the name that keeps getting mentioned, that keeps coming up in all of the discussions, that every band is mentioning. Like, so that's got me real excited. For those guys too, because now I'm like, fuck, all right, that's a reputation to uphold now. There's a lot of pressure on them. So with all that said, like, looking at how many bands on the lineup there, are there any bands that you are particularly excited to be sharing the stage with, to be, you know, performing alongside again, or to maybe be seeing for the first time or performing with for the first time?
I think personally for me, there's some of my favorites, like obviously Darker Half, absolutely love. I love their music and love their stage show as well. You've got Witch Grinder, who I haven't seen for a while, but now it's got friends in it. Like my a friend of mine who's a drummer is in there now. And then I always love seeing all of the Adelaide bands. I love seeing them do well. And then just catching up with them basically. That's the main thing.
It's great.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the ones that we don't get over this way too often. So Harlot, I think will be good. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Interested in seeing Armored Earth. I like their vocalist Dan White did that Frankenbach album.
Yep.
Which I love.
Have you checked out his band from prior to that?
Scar the
Surface. Scar the Surface, definitely check him out. Like, we did a show back when I used to be in Tensions Arise. We did a show with Scar the Surface. I think we played a couple of shows with him actually, and it was like just so good. Like, we just got floored by it. Like, they were next level, and it's awesome that he's gone on to do so much cool shit. And obviously props to him for chasing. Continuing to do what he wants to do there. Like, I would have loved to have seen Scar the Surface continue as a project. Like, they just had some really, really cool songs, and he is a great frontman. So it's going to be good to see him him again after it's been been a little while. Like, I know Armored Earth's come up to Brisbane a couple of times, and I've kind of caught him in passing at those. But they're Armored Earth's. They're a good one, and he definitely a band to pay attention to, because he is going to be in his element at an event like this.
Yeah, I think everyone is.
Yeah,
you'll better be anyway.
Yeah, and the other thing for us too, like, is because we know some of the bands that y'all don't know, which is the best thing. Like we bands that they may have played Adelaide before, but you may not have necessarily caught them. But some of the bands that we know that are on this. That you guys from down in Adelaide maybe don't know, like, we know that they're going to blow your minds. Like, we know you all are going to be like, holy shit. So, like, we're super excited for that as well, to watch all that. And I think, the best part is, the thing that we keep coming back to is, no one is going to go all the way out there to have a bad time. Yeah. No one is going to go all the way out there with the intent to ruin anyone else's time. And no one's going to want their time ruined by anybody else. Everyone is going to understand and respect the pilgrimage, for lack of a better term, that has gone into traveling to this event. And I think everyone is going to respect that.
Yeah.
So if someone, it's going to be like, if someone falls down, they're going to get picked up. If someone's shit gets damaged, people are going to help them out. If, it's going to be, the kind of event that is special.
It's going to be one of those ones where you leave, you have that mad reflection on the long drive home, and then 2 days afterwards you feel like you left a bit of yourself back there. It's probably going to take you 2 or 3 days to feel normal again, because you're going to be stuck back in reality. And I know,
we just don't need anyone going full feral. We don't need the feral child from the movie. We don't need any of that. But
no. Although if any rum gets pulled out, that may turn into me later on. So no rum for me, buddy.
Just make sure you keep the loincloth on, and we'll be good.
Hey, dude. I'm not that type of person. Not that comfortable with my body.
It's definitely a very unique thing to the metal crowd and metal, I guess, community, that everyone is there to help each other. They're all there, like, they're there for music, so you don't get the bad experiences that you get with a lot of the other crowds. I'm not calling any out in particular, but you do notice with the metal community, everyone helps each other. Everyone is there for the music, and they're all enjoying it. And it's just, and you get something like this that comes up, which is, it just goes to the next level. It's just like, it's an extra special thing in an already really special community.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we're going it so hard to make sure that, like I said, we're 3 months. We started this thing. It's going to be 3 months of covering all the bands in the lead up to this. which is going to be, like we're going to be probably sick of talking about the event by the time it comes around, but the planning and the amount of ideas that are just spinning through our heads about this has been crazy. Like if you all could see the chats that Kyle and I have been having with each other about, we could do this, or we could do this, or what if we do this? What about trying this? It's unreal. Like, and we have to try and bring it back down to earth and go, okay, wait a minute. Like what can we reasonably take with us?
We're literally two dudes that are sitting in our bedrooms that have been doing this for 3 years and having a serious crack.
Yeah.
And now that we've got this next step, we don't if you guys have to bring your A game, so do we. Yeah. Like we got to bring that S tier content as well. So that it's
And it's almost gonna be a tester of sorts, right? Because like if this goes well, then there's more versions of this event that come in the following years. We would like to be involved with those too. That's something that we want to try and do, and to be, obviously whatever we do this year, next year we'll have to do better, and then the year after we'll have to do better. And there's so many ideas that we've got that we just won't know until we've done it once if they're going to work or not.
Yeah.
For example, sorry, go on. Yep.
No, I was just going to say we really, as bands, we really appreciate people like yourselves who, as you say, you do an amazing job. You have to bring your A game, and you're doing more for this show than all of us. If we weren't there, like personally, if we weren't there as a band, someone else will fill in. Someone else will step in that place. But when we get people like yourselves, really taking it upon themselves to get the word out there, really advertise it, and really support it. That's what we need.
Yeah, it's the thing that sort of keeps that community sort of knitted together.
Yeah,
so it's the hard part.
Well, we reached out to cover it. We reached out and we're like, look, we love the idea of this event. We want to cover it. We want to the initial proposal that we put forward was, hey, we want to interview, do a series of special episodes focusing on all the bands that are involved. That was it. That was what we reached out with, right? And the team at Lead Heavy came back and went, sounds like a great idea. If you guys are happy to organize that, feel free to reach out to the bands. If you want, I can shout you guys some tickets as well and have you guys come out and cover the event. And that was something like us attending for them for coverage was something that they brought up to us. We were perfectly so it's not like we're doing this because we got the tickets to go out. We love the idea of the event and we wanted to get behind it and help promote it, which is just because it's such a cool fucking idea.
Yeah,
it is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
And
we want to be the dudes on the ground floor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. When I first heard this idea from Anton and Asia, it was such a good idea. I'm surprised it hadn't been thought of earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, this cannot fail.
Yeah.
All I'm going through my head, all that's going through both of our heads is this cannot fail. It is our responsibility as well to make sure that this does not fail.
Yeah.
Because if we want to go back to it and we want our kids to go to it and we want other people to enjoy it, it's not just up to the bands; it's up to us as well.
That's it. It's awesome.
And getting to attend it and do coverage on site is just a bonus for us. But we recognize what an opportunity it represents as well, because if this event does grow and it does continue into future years, as I said, we'd love to continue to be involved with it. So that's gonna, it's gonna sort of link us together, and it's that we're gonna help it. It's gonna help us, and we're looking at things like, okay, can we I think looking at the mobile phone coverage map, there's 4G out there that looks pretty good, but there's not 5G. So is that going to be enough if we wanted to do any live streaming, for example? Where is our setup going to be relative to the stage and everything else? Because depending on positioning, is it going to be viable for us to, for example, to set up a camera on the outside of our tent facing towards the stage so that if we are live streaming, we can cut to the stage? Is it going to be possible to get a line from the desk for the live sound, right? So hey, if we can do that and we can get a camera on the stage, that's great. We can basically do a fucking channel V style coverage of what they used to do for Big Day Out or whatever of this event, and get it out there for the people that maybe weren't able to make it. And look, if we're not going to know if that's something that's going to be viable until we get out there. So it's probably not happening this year, right? But if we get out there and it looks really good, that's something we can look into for the following year, right?
Oh, so if it's awesome, Starlink is happening. I'm getting a Starlink for next year. Like, that is as simple as that. If we can't live stream this year, next year will be live streamed.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So, that kind of coverage is what we want to shoot. Maybe this is all pie in the sky stuff and it's not going to end up being as big as we want in our heads like that. And that's fine. If that happens, we'll have to, we got to wear that and just be like, all right, cool. Our eyes were bigger than our stomach on this one, Yeah. But I would rather go in, and this is the thing, like, we'd rather go in and, we'll know more obviously as we get closer and we have more conversations with Lead Heavy about how this is going to play out. But hey, we want to do as much as we can for this event because it's so cool. The concept is cool. Hopefully the execution, if the execution is half as cool as the concept, it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys have kicked around with some pretty fucking cool bands over the years. I was looking at the list that we got through there, and like, obviously you've played shows with Lord and Darker Half before, but you've run around with like Ross.
As in Lord,
Ross
are you talking about Lord as in Lord?
This is Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the female New Zealand singer Lord?
Not Lord E, or Lord A.
No, Lord.
Oh.
Not Lorde.
Dungeon.
I was going to say those of the dungeon lineage.
I was going to say that's a weird mix-up. It's going to
but getting around with like Ross from Man of War, obviously, which is like that perfect fit.
We've been very lucky, very fortunate to be able to have the some really good supports like the Ross the Boss thing, Raven. We've done a lot of the Churches of Steel festivals with all the internationals there, and just the national bands that are absolutely amazing as well. It is a lot of it has come from special people in the metal industry that have become friends. A perfect example would be Dave Balfour of Steel Assassins.
Fucking Dave, hell, man. Dave
gets around, bro.
He's one of the most amazing people.
Hell yeah, that dude is.
He helps us out. He's helped us out before. When he didn't know us. We've been very fortunate to benefit from things that he's done and he didn't have to. It was just kindness, basically.
Pretty sure the music's pretty fucking awesome too, man. Like, they sell yourself too short. Like, fucking hell. You're being very humble at the moment, but the music's fucking awesome.
Thank you so much. Even you guys helping us out now. It's always been we've been very lucky to get these opportunities, and we try to help out, and we try to repay and make sure that we're always helping out. Not just people who help us, not just people who we want to notice us, but just everyone. From the band that's starting out playing their first gig or anything like that, to someone who's like a promoter who's been in the industry for years and that we could probably benefit from. It doesn't matter if that's not what we're about. We're about just helping everyone and just enjoying it. If we can enjoy the time on stage and playing the music and have fun with our within our band, then we hope that translates, and that it means that all the fans, everyone who helps, every band, everything, will benefit from that, from us.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing, that kind of attitude helps so much. That's the kind of attitude that really just enables the scene to continue to grow. And without that, we end up back, in like the bad times again.
Yes.
I find there's two types of people. It'll be like, you'll get that phone call for that support, and then they'll be like, thank you. Fuck yeah, we deserve this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fuck, we got lucky. Fuck, we should thank our lucky stars.
Absolutely.
We got to work.
But
We got to work.
I think knowing your worth is important too.
Yes, 100%.
Knowing that you've earned and deserve something is important, and if you're trying to push yourself forward as an act, you can know, like, you can know that you deserve these things while still being humble.
Yes.
It's a difficult balance to strike. Not everyone is going to be able to do it, but it's being humble doesn't necessarily mean being a doormat, and being humble and helpful doesn't mean that you just let everyone take advantage of you all the time. Which is just, you got to, finding the right balance is so important. Which is why someone like Dave is just like everyone. I think just about everyone in the Aussie metal scene knows Dave at this point. Yep. And he is, his passion for music and Aussie metal is I think unbounded and probably unrivaled. I don't know anyone that is as passionate about Australian metal bands as he is. His knowledge is encyclopedic. He has worked with so many bands across all different types of metal over the years and put so many of them on his shows. And him
on the podcast.
Oh, dude, it's on the list. It's on the list.
That'll be straight. That'll be after this. This run.
He's someone that in, like, hopefully, like, I'm not trying to dick ride here, but like, it's the kind of thing where hopefully if we continue doing this podcast and it continues growing and moving forward, that down the line people can maybe think of view us the same way that Dave is viewed now, right? As some people that have like really tried to grow and help and have just continued to try and be passionate about these things. Because like that's, if more people in the scene were to shoot for that, then it's just going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, no, well, that's it. Like, and a lot of the time, Dave does it for nothing. He's not looking for any thank yous or anything out of it. He just helps. He helps people he doesn't know. He'll. It's just the kind of person he is.
He's just been doing it forever as well, too.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Absolutely. So, now look, obviously, you guys are, sound wise, a lot more in line with the kind of prog power, the old school twin guitar attack kind of thing. But we have taken it upon ourselves to answer a bit of a question through the course of this year, particularly through our involvement with Metal to the Max. But so it's a question we're asking all of the bands. It's a question that we are going to be asking as many people as possible when we are out there on site. And we're going to be tallying the results when we get to the end. But obviously you gentlemen are going to be familiar with the big four of thrash, in the form of Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. We would like to try and get some sort of consensus or some sort of answers on who people think are the big four of nu metal.
Right. Okay.
Now, obviously, as I said, like, nu metal is not in the vein of what you guys perform, but obviously you guys are of the age where you would have come up through that period. And so you can either opt to come to a consensus between you, or you can give us your individual answers. It's entirely up to how you want to do that. But if we could, who do you gentlemen consider to be the big four of the nu metal era of music?
So we're talking like sort of impact, like cult, like full on impact, or is it a personal favorite?
Personal favorites,
personal favorites, or the impact. However you want to judge that metric, it's really up to you how you want to arrive at that decision.
Yeah, I definitely have to pass this on to Rich. He's more qualified than I am.
Sorry about that, guys. I've done.
Well, I think first off, I suppose you have to have Korn on something like this, right? So the progenitors of it, they're at the start. I think their track record probably speaks for itself. So
100% it does.
Geez, who else? Who else would I? You get into murky waters here too, right? Because there's those bands who we sort of think about being in that category.
What we're basically trying to do is, if we ask enough people, we're basically going to get a tally.
Yep.
We're going to get the tally off everyone. Me and Raff will throw R4 in right at the end. We'll get the tally. We're going to present it out to the world, and we're just going to let everyone else argue about it. So whatever your 4 are,
we do feel like that asking enough people will get us, a bit of a
consistency,
a decent sample size,
Yeah. Well, who else? Do we count Deftones? Are we?
They were in that era. They hate to admit it.
Early albums are a pretty good example of it.
I agree. I think they are new metal.
Yeah, those first couple of albums I think slot in there. They've got that sound. Whether or not they agree with that or not,
they hate it, but too bad.
Well, they do.
They don't get to choose.
I suppose some bands from that I really liked. I think Seven Dust were great songwriters, or still are great songwriters. They've been going at it for 30 years now.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'd have to put them in there just for the songs.
Man.
Can't really argue with that. And then it becomes tricky, because it's like, do you start thinking about like bands that maybe went into that phase? Like I'm thinking Machine Head sort of in that. I know that
has been one that has been named. So if you want to say Machine Head, man, you say Machine Head.
I'll throw a dark horse out there. I quite liked Spine Shank back in the day.
Oh, okay. They were like under the radar. They were so good. They were probably like easy one of the most underrated bands, like that, and Taproot.
I feel like Spine Shank was one of the bands that it's like it's your favorite band's favorite band. It's the kind of thing where a lot of the artists that were out there doing it, and they knew about, they were right on that shit. And, Spine Shank was one that all of the bands knew, but maybe the punters were not quite as on top of.
Didn't quite break their way, but I think they did some quality stuff. Knew how to write a good song, bring in all these. They had the electronic or sort of influences in there as well.
Yes.
Man, they just did write great songs. Great hooks.
I reckon that's a solid fucking 4. Like, I don't disagree with any of that. There
you go. Well, there you go. We've added them to the tally.
And I mean, you only have to look at Seven Dust Home. That, as far as I'm concerned, that album is iconic.
Yeah. Great vocalist too. Like just amazing.
Sean is just
awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, as we bring the podcast to a close, gentlemen, is there any last things that you want to plug for people? Any other stuff that people should be aware of? And where is the best place for people to find you guys and keep up with what you've got going on?
Well, I guess, a few things I'd like to plug. Obviously, back to this again. Any of our music, if anyone would like it, you can always buy it online. As I said, every time we bring something out, or like any merch or CDs or anything, they're always cheaper at our shows if you can make it out, because we really we'd prefer to sell them basically for cost price or anything like that and have people coming out. That's always the thing for us. We get obviously the artwork on the CD. Like amazing artist Chris Gaston, if you can check him out. Also have an artist that does a lot of supports a lot of local bands, does a lot of clothing stuff that we wear. Like if you can see the t-shirt, and
that is a Slammer t-shirt.
I'll try and move the I'll try and move the shot in the thing to show people. There we go. It looks a lot better shot of it there. There we are.
Thank you. That's a local artist, Dakota Studios, that does a lot of comic book stuff, but also a lot of music stuff, and helps out a lot of bands, local bands, including them in her comics and does a lot of photos and stuff for us as well. So please, if you get a chance, check that out. She does caricatures and does a lot of animal caricatures and people as well. I think, as far as that goes, do you have anyone that you'd like to?
I guess for Skyhammer, the best place to find us is probably on Facebook. That's where we have most of our information. You can also get a link to our big cartel where we sell our online stuff if you can't make it out to a show and buy it direct from us. That's usually the best place to catch us. Or when the machine starts churning again and we get back out doing more and more shows. Once we get this album in the can and done, that would be the other place to find us.
Nice.
Old night.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Well, get yourselves out to Metal to the Max if you really want to see them soon.
That's it.
And
That's
if you're digging what they got out on Spotify, get out
description.
to Metal to the Max, because I cannot wait to get my bits of power. Oh, my power in my throat. Oh, it's just going to be...
I want to get my face pounded by the Skyhammer.
big sound. Yeah, the Skyhammer's going to crash down on my face.
One more thing, and that's the most important thing. If you can, get out to Metal to the Max. Please support all the other bands on there. Like, you will find your next favourite band if you went through the list. And it's always the way. A lot of people overlook the local stuff or the Australian market, but you will find some absolutely perfect bands there.
Oh, this is going to be 100%. Great. It's going to be a hell of a time. Like I said, we'll be out there. So if you watch our reaction videos and think we're full of shit, and you can come out to the thing and you can tell us off to our faces that we don't know what we're talking about. But all right, we're going to have links to everything in the description. So we'll have links to all the Metal to the Max related stuff in there. We'll have links to all of Skyhammer's socials in there as well, and Spotify and Bandcamp or whatever, and Big Cartel, all that cool stuff. Thank you very, very much to everybody for watching. Thank you to my co-host, Kyle. Thank you so much to Rich and Andrew from Skyhammer for joining us today. Tune back in on the weekend for Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin. And we will catch you guys later on. Peace out, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it.